Hi everyone, welcome to Entrepreneurial 1 Cent, a place where we turn small ideas into mega opportunities. I'm your host, Olakunle Adegbo, and in this edition, we're going to be diving into the world of risk takers, visionaries. We're going to be looking at their strategies, we're going to be looking at their failures, we're going to be highlighting their success so that I can prove to you that you don't need a fortune to build one. You understand? So, are you ready to turn that 1 cent into a multi-billion idea? Then let's journey together. All right, guys. So today I have with me a doyen in entrepreneurship. This is a man that his name is synonymous to success across different industries. With over 3 decades experience in entrepreneurship, you can tell that you are drinking from a very deep, clean, and structured fountain. Ladies and gentlemen, with me in the studio today, I have engineer Felix Nnamdi Unachuku, the CEO of DAX Global. Let me not go ahead of myself in this. Sir, it's good to have you in our studio.
Thank you, Mr.
Would like to,
thank you, viewers.
Yeah, we'd like to formally hear from you, sir. Could you please once again just introduce yourself to our audience that are waiting to meet you, sir?
Like you've mentioned my name, Engineer Namdo Nachoku. So I studied electronics engineering, my first degree, and subsequently other things. I do multiple things, things I'm passionate about. And one is entrepreneurship. I'm also a pastor. What it means that I do life coaching and I do all sorts of things to help humanity. So that's a little I can say.
That's great to hear. That's great to hear. Viewers, you heard that. He's actually a pastor. Well, I've been opportune to sit under his teaching once or twice, and trust me, you can tell that these are men with depth. All right, sir. So without taking too much of our time, we want to go straight into what we're here for. Now, the focus of our meeting here today is to help young entrepreneurs out there who wants to become like you. Like I read in your book, How I Made My First $1 Million, and I quickly recap and did my calculation sharp, and I came to a conclusion that no, this is a man that we have to listen to. All right, so sir, you mentioned something that in your book, and I'm going to be quoting you that passion is the fuel that drove you from where you were to where you are today. And then I'm wondering, how? Passion, passion. How do you explain that? Because I try to sample it across board, and some people say, "Well, I don't have to be passionate about what I do. I can just get people to do them." And I'm like, okay, no, it can't work. But since I heard it, I said, let me bring it up, and then let my audience also understand the role that passion plays in achieving success as an entrepreneur. So, sir, could you please shed more light on that?
Yeah. First of all, let me start from the story about the book and why I wrote it. That book was written as a result of what I found in the society today, how people are, uh, you know, kind of tilting negatively against nature. And when I say that, I mean the youths are getting it all wrong when it comes to how to be successful in life. And the society is helping the youth also to today go haywire in area of pursuit of life. I had to write that book to help humanity, to help the young, to see that someone can actually start it, legitimately, and also make it as it were. And so I decided to trace my story, and to trace my story because I've seen so many people come to me and say, mentor me, sir. So I found out that I can't continue to mentor one. That would take a lot of time, and they might not maximize what I got. So I felt, okay, what will I do that I can hand down to them, and they will read it, be able to generate some questions, also find me in the book. And I wrote that book, How I Made My First $1 Million, just 3 years after upon graduation. I set up what I call my business, and God's willing, it happened to have turned out good for me. So I decided to put it in the book. And the question you asked me is part of maybe a chapter in the book, or some is represented in the book, passion. I started with defining passion as that enthusiasm, that burning desire of where you want to be, and the things that you could wake up any day and you want to do it, something that you love to do, something that when you do it, you are happy, you are fulfilled. Whether it yields money or not, you are fulfilled. So that's partly what I was discussing in the book about passion. I say anything you want to do in life, you need to be passionate about it. Otherwise, you get stuck in the way, or you will even pull out midway, mid into the into the voyage. Because life is about what you're determined to do. You chase it, and looking at that goal, you continue without distraction. So what passion helps you to do is that when you are doing it, you don't get distracted by what people around you are doing. When I talk about passion, I like buttressing with certain stories and analogies of what happened in my life as a young student. When I was a student, I was passionate about doing business, and doing business means that I found it from I got my environment, especially my immediate environment, which my parents helped me, to kind of design or form that mindset that I can actually survive. My father didn't work for any organization. He told me that he set up after serving his master. He gave him some what they call settlement. Had to settle him, and he set up and started growing until he became a very successful woman. So I felt I can actually replicate this thing in a more dynamic way. So I was passionate about that. So, and I started getting that exposure. Some days you get your mom say, "Go do this for me in my store," and I'll go there, and I was doing it, and was maybe feeling good about it, and that was exactly what drove me into what I'm doing today. So when I say passion here, because I was passionate about setting up and running a business on my own when I was in school, something happened one time when my mates, I found myself in a class of 60 studying electronics engineering as far back as 1994 to 1999. So that was an era that computer, all these things were kind of forming. So while we were graduating, we were already talking about it was the jet age. We're moving to jet. So everybody were looking up to the banks, absorbing them, the oil companies absorbing them, government agencies are absorbing them. But deep inside my heart, I felt, look, I can actually use this knowledge I got in electronic engineering and still transform it into a business. Not just going to do my father's business, which was fashion business of footwears and the rest. That I can actually do something, but still in that my area. That's electronics, computers, and the rest of things. That's exactly what I found myself and the whole my what I call my mindset and the thoughts all in my heart. What I was just imagining is how I will become maybe a big computer, merchant, and then there was no mobile phone, so I was only looking at how I could just be doing this and be doing that in computers. And exactly what happened, and it turned out to become my where I started. And today I can say that any young, because the essence of the book is to permit me if I use the word, is to minister to youth, to minister to young minds that are forming, like what I encountered when I was in my teenage and young
University
adult
days.
age. So I know in their mind they really want to do something, but at times they can't just wrap their hands around what they want to do. Nobody to mentor them, nobody to tell them start this and do this, and so they are looking around and get distracted by what their friends are doing. But for me, I was a bit passionate about something, which is set up a business, drive that business, and grow that business. So that was the drivers of my life those days.
Thank you very much, sir, for that in-depth answer to our question. Now, you made one thing very clear in that your answer. You made it clear to us that your immediate environment actually influenced you in what became your passion. You saw your dad do something and gave you that mindset. and then you now became passionate about it. So, guys, if you're listening, watch out for your immediate environment. He mentioned family, not just your biological family. You have your work family, you have your church family, you have, families everywhere. Be careful of where you actually place yourself. All right, sir. So we're going again. There is something that has been a concern for me, and I would ask it the way I feel my audience would have wanted to ask if they were to sit with you. Could you be successful in what you're not passionate about?
No, not at all. If you don't have passion for anything you want to do, I bet you when you meet the brick wall, because nothing is very linear in life. Life is about sinusoidal. It goes up, it comes down. So anything you want to do in life, you will meet some obstacle. If you don't met that obstacle, come out from there is not the right way. So those things that will hit you back, what you need to do is to just, go back, reinvent yourself, and come back. For me, those days I used to draw a circle, and I found myself, trying to crack into an environment I want to belong. So I see myself trying to generate a force that will crack into that environment. And in physics, they told us that force is equal to ma. F equal to ma. That's equal to mass times acceleration. So depending on the kind of energy and the speed you've gained, do you understand? That's how you crack into where you want to belong. So if you're not passionate about it, there's so many things that will discourage you on your way. That journey is not always smooth, like I said. So you have to, in fact, when I tell people, I say my first seed capital was my passion. It wasn't money. It wasn't offering you 1 million, 10 million.
You
So
said it.
my first seed capital is always my passion, what I want to do. So the next was, how do I now do capital formation to, to get into that zone. But that passion was in me. Everything about me. If you ask me a question, if my classmate asked me a question, it was all about how we set up my own business. So I didn't find a lot of friends that were thinking that way. Out of that 62 in class, maybe only about 0 point something percent of us, we're only two that went into business. So, and the other one, was not living in Lagos anymore. So I could say that I was alone in that class. But what I did in that class was, I felt, some people think that people who go to business are dropouts, or people who couldn't make their results. So I was very serious. I was passionate about my study because I wanted to learn it. Since I said, I want to do business out of this electronics engineering. So I wanted to know everything about that engineering. So the best course I enjoyed was when they were teaching us, the lecturer, it was when we were graduating, and the lecturer came up, one of the professors, and said that today he'll be teaching us on business in engineering. I was so happy. I was just looking at the man. He was telling us opportunities in engineering. And that was the opportunity I leveraged. And in fact, when I was doing my youth service, when I was doing my, what they call IT, in the company where I did my IT, they were importing computers, they were repairing computers. So all I was learning there is those things that they need, how I can provide it. So I found out that they usually buy what they call Cat5 cable, RG11 sockets, and the rest of things. I felt, where can I buy this and supplying this company? So I was also seeing opportunity there. And it finally happened that company, Microproduct, when I was serving, I was selling almost all those products. Those my managers that used to send me to go and buy bole, buy coke for them. Started buying, and they will come and tell me, you. So I was the one supplying them those things. But I found the opportunities, and I came out, went to Computer Village, got it cheaper. From going to Computer Village, I went to Board Dubai. When I got to Board Dubai, I was selling below what Computer Village was selling. And I knew where to sell it because they needed it, and they were patronizing me. So it's all about passion. What you want to do was all in my mind. So I always, whenever I see it, I know it. So it's good when you're passionate about what you want to do. You don't get distracted. You get focused. So when you see it, you discover it, and you go for it. Don't get distracted. Other things will come. For me, I like doing one thing at a time. And when I'm doing one thing, I'll be pursuing it with all vigor. Everything about me. Because I always see the end. The end might not be so clear. But I always, something in me will be telling me, keep it up, keep pursuing this, don't relent. So I give all my effort chasing that thing. The only thing is that when I have kind of achieved it, people were like, wow, so you didn't tell us this you were chasing. I said, well, maybe you guys were not seeing what I was seeing. So, but passionately chasing it, and you get there.
Wow. So, guys, you heard that it's not possible for you to succeed in any venture that you don't have a passion for. But I have a twist to that question because somebody once asked me that, see, do I need to start researching about all of these things? If I make money and then call people that are passionate about what I want to do and then pay them for their passion to drive my own company, wouldn't I get there? Now, he used the fashion world as an example. He was talking to me about a fashion business, and I said, are you a tailor? He said, no. I said, do you have passion for fashion? When you see people dressed, are you a critic or anything? He said, no, that boy just sees that as a business opportunity, a venture that he can go into. Just had a little bit of twist to it. I said, how do you want to succeed in this? And then he made that statement to me. So, you having over 3 decades of experience in this thing, is that actually an option? When you're looking at it, that because you have money, you could get capital, you could get funding, you now bring people that are fashionistas, that are passionate about fashion, and then put them at the end of affairs of your company, and then you run. Is that possible? So is that
Yeah,
angle?
I will answer you. Yeah, it's possible,
Okay.
and yet it's not entrepreneurship.
Okay.
Entrepreneurship are problem solvers. They're the ones who go to solve, discover a problem that society has, prefer solution to it. And at the end of the day, take all the risk and make money out of it. Now, there are people who are investors who come into an already existing opportunity and they buy into it, just like venture capitalists. They just give their money and get people that have that passion to do it for them, and they take gain out of it. They also take risk because they are investing in someone, but they are not the entrepreneur. The entrepreneur is the person who found the problem, able to, plan it, articulate how to provide solution, and providing that solution. But it will require some money, it will require some capital to run it. And some other person who has a deep pocket will now come and give the money and make money out of it. That one is a different thing. It's like you going to buy shares in a bank.
So
you're
it's
not a
an
banker,
investor,
but you're just an investor.
not an
So,
entrepreneur.
but one thing about it is that when it changes, when the dynamics change, the person who is not passionate about it is always out. But the people who are real into the business, the people who are passionate about it, are the people who will weather the storm and still come out to the other end smiling.
Okay, so now we've been able to clear that question, that you can actually be an investor, a venture capitalist, but you cannot be called an entrepreneur for bringing out money to allow other people run what you're not passionate about. All right, so to wrap up this episode of our program, I have one question that personally has been bothering me. Now, when I looked at the analysis that you've made so far and the little that I know, I see a strong resemblance between passion and ambition. So, and I wonder, because all my life as a young person, I've not always loved the concept of ambition, because I believe that when you're ambitious, there is nothing you cannot do. When you're passionate, you are guided. There's a discipline that comes with passion. But for ambition is a reckless race. So because you're ambitious to get a car, you can do money rituals if the opportunity shows up just to be able to. So is there what are the real major difference between ambition and passion? And how do we identify them?
Oh, okay. This one is more of semantics for me.
Okay.
They look alike, they sound alike, they taste alike. But now, when you now get to nitty-gritty, you find the difference.
Okay, sir.
When someone is ambitious, he wants to be there, but he's not willing to pay the price on how to get there. He looks at people, that are there. He wants to be there, but he has never asked them to mentor him how to get to that place. So he feels that anyhow I could get where they are, that so be it. The end justifies me. So if he weren't killing someone, going armed robbery, duping, or doing all kinds of things, to be there, they think that is. But most of them, when they get there, they don't have the joy because they didn't work for it. Just mere ambition.
Mm.
And oftentimes there are people who are ambitious who don't get there
Mm.
because they've not planned how to get there.
Mm.
Now, when someone is passionate about something, he starts with planning.
Mm.
The first thing he starts with planning.
Mm.
What can I do to get there? He first of all listen to people that are there. How did you guys get here?
Mm. Mm.
So, but that's the passion that drives him. He's
Mm.
running around looking for how did you people get here?
Mm.
He looks for somebody who will mentor. He is ready to serve. He's ready to serve under someone who is there. But someone who is ambitious
Mm.
doesn't want to serve anybody.
Mm.
In fact, if this man could make it, I will make it.
Mm.
But someone who is passionate about what will come back and say, hey, Misola, can I serve you?
Mm.
Can I work with you?
Mm.
And he's working with you. He's learning the way you talk. He's
Mm.
learning the way you engage your customers. He's learning the way you take decisions
Mm.
and you make your decisions. He's learning it. You know, it's not a classroom, but observation.
Yes, sir.
He's observing you,
Yes, sir.
keenly observing you.
Yes, sir.
And at the end of the day, anywhere he is, he say, my boss used to do it this way. My boss used to say it this way. So at that point, you see the person is passionate about life. It's better because it's kind of an all-round thing.
Mm.
Most youth today, they don't understand it. It's about getting only money. It's not about grabbing only money. You must show people. You must show working. In mathematics, if somebody gives you something, you jump to the answer. My mathematics teacher will say, show me working. How did you get there? You don't jump and you put the answer and put
Yes,
QED.
sir. Yes, sir.
You need to prove it to me. So for every person who is wealthy, who created wealth, if you ask him anytime, any day, if he wakes up, you ask him, how did you make this wealth? He will be able to tell you. He will tell you about the thick and thin. It's not easy. He will tell you about the nights that he will not sleep. There are days he will cry. For me, I know there are days in my life that I'll be afraid. I'll be afraid of, my what I want to achieve, the meeting I want to go into. My heart will be panting. I'll be controlling myself. After maybe a number of times, and I could now boldly sit in that board meeting and be talking. You don't know that when I started it, I was quite afraid. So these are things, it's like a journey. You must go through that journey. You must meet all those milestones, to be able to get to where you are. So when you look back, you could tell people, this is where I'm coming from. But someone who is ambitious, he wants to fly and jump to that place. So in this context, especially what is happening in Nigeria today, you see the young minds, suddenly a boy of 18 has not achieved much in life, goes to buy the Mercedes CLK just to show off, just to throw money around. He feels that he has arrived, but that is being ambitious, to arrive there without a story.
Without a track record.
No track record.
All right, guys. So you heard that from the Doyen himself, that passion and ambition can never and would never be the same on any platform. You have to be able to show the workings. You have to be able to show the trend. You have to be able to say, oh, I started from point A, I got to B, then to C, and that's how I got to Z. So at this juncture, we're going to be coming to the end of this episode of Entrepreneurial 1 Cent. And don't forget, this is where we turn that small ideas into a great opportunity. And for those of you that wants to make that 1 cent into $1 million, stay tuned. I'll see you in the next episode.
BMI Finishing School.